All right. I'm trying to see. So can everybody hear me? I'm trying to cancel out feedback.
I can hear you.
All right, I'm going to mute myself that I can cancel out my. I'm hearing you loud and clear, Sydney. Oh, unmute yourself, please, Sydney. We're not hearing you now.
How?
Yes.
Still muted? Okay, I think we finally got this.
Right, yes. All right, so I'm going to mute myself that there's no feedback to you.
Okay.
You can start when we're ready. When you're ready, we're hearing you. Tyreek just said he's hearing you as well.
Perfect.
And I don't know if you want to give that a few more minutes to see who else will join.
Sure, I was thinking, Josiah said we should do something like that. We should wait a little bit just in case.
Yes, correct. Let me get my pen in the meantime, just a minute.
Okay.
All right.
Probably turn on the light. Is that too bright? Maybe. I think even we can go ahead and start since we've got a time limit, and then whoever watches when the recording, you know. But mainly I wanted to say thank you for everyone who's here and who will watch the recording later.
Yes.
Today's topic is the practical use of conscious mirrors and how you can use these tools to eliminate unconscious blocks that lead to instant manifestation.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to give the background as to how I got this idea. And that basically what occurred is that I'm going to have to take off these headphones. How about now? Can you guys hear me? No. Sorry.
Yes, we're hearing you loud and clear.
I can hear you.
Okay.
Yes.
The way that I came to this conclusion is going to be a lot of symbols, but I'm going to describe them. So essentially what I used to do is I couldn't quiet my mind. I can hear so much all the time, and it was impossible to meditate. And so I realized that while I kept my mind busy doing some kind of activity, my mind could wander and allow divine inspiration. And in this particular case, I was taken or transported into a place in my mind in which I was being shown a great big hall of mirrors. And I want you guys to picture this. You walk into this hall and you picture a fun house, and you're the source in the middle, and every mirror around you is distorted in one way or another. And so as you look at the source and then you look at the reflection, you appear to be different bodies everywhere. And that's kind of like the 3D image. We're not understanding it that way, but it is. As long as we remember we're the source. And then the 3D image is our reflection. And so if you picture that, I want you to think of the mirror neurons in your brain and those grooves representing the choices made or not made. So then that angle of that mirror varies depending on the choice. And all of these mirrors are inside your mind. You're the source, and you're seeing all these people. That makes sense, right? You want to flip the 3D image back on its axis. You want to make sure you always understand you're the source. And so in this way, whoever comes to you for help, if you reverse the image, is actually offering you help. You know, you have to think about that, right? And the way it's seeing it that way. All right. So I want to take a moment to quote Jesus in the Gospel of Thomas. He says, as you walk about the countryside, people will take you in. Eat what they serve you. Heal the sick among them. That's an important quote because we are moving in our mind and we're wandering what appears to be the countryside. The people that come to you, invite you in, you want to eat what they serve you. That means whatever they're telling you is a reflection of an experience. You've a repeated pattern you don't know you're thinking and are attached to, or a future experience. We have to be able to discern the difference, but understand that the person is the messenger. Does that kind of make sense? It's a totally different flip of how we see things. But I want to give you guys examples, okay? Because this eliminates triggers, this eliminates resentments, this eliminates fears. It eliminates all of these things because you're constantly being guided. And it's kind of like the equivalent, if we don't think about it this way. I don't know if you've ever seen a meme. It's similar, where there's a man trying to climb a wall and surrounded by ladders. All the ladders are ground. They're not one is facing the wall. He's trying to climb the wall by stepping on the ladders that are all scattered all over. Never once using them properly. Right? Can you picture that? That's how people are. If we resent them, that's a ladder we didn't use properly. If we don't understand what they're telling us, that's a ladder we didn't use properly. And so it's really important. Also remember, they invite you in. And that's really important because since we are aware, we want to rescue everyone. Like it's, you know, but what ends up happening is if they did not invite you in, they're not ready. And so you need to be able to let them go and only work with the ones that are coming towards you. Okay? Now these mirrors, I want to give you examples of how I've used them in my life. I'll describe a few different examples. One example that I have is a trigger. I want to describe how I broke down my trigger because this is an important part of the steps. I recently had a woman in my neighborhood make a biased opinion on my appearance and decided I didn't belong in the neighborhood that I live in because I don't look like I belong. You understand that? So she was discriminating. I'm Hispanic. Am I the cleaning lady? Who am I? Yeah, that was her bias. And I could not understand why I was so angry with her for the way I felt in that moment. And even though I knew that I'm the source of that reflection, I needed to get to the point where I could, you know, accept what was being shown and understand why I was being angry, you know, so much. And in that particular case, I do something that I call root cause tapping because I couldn't get beyond the trigger. Okay? This is borrowed from the emotional freedom technique. And you tap exactly like you would, you know, in a tapping, right? Exactly. But no words, no scripts, no nothing. And you tap for as long as feels comfortable. Exactly that. And then you want to wait in silence to see what memories come up. Okay? So it's a trick to get into your unconscious mind. And in that moment that I did that, I was shown a memory from my high school. Now, why would that still be playing? You know, but I couldn't understand it. And so I want to describe my childhood. I was skipped ahead 2 years in math and science always. By the time I was in high school, I had college level classes. But I also went to school in a lower and middle income neighborhood. So by the time I arrived as a freshman in AP Advanced Chemistry college level class, not one student in that classroom looked like me. Okay? And my chem teacher on the first day of school looked at me and said, "Are you sure you're in the right classroom?" And in that moment, because I had been dealing with those biases my whole life, he triggered me again. But I'm a cocky little teenager at that point. And I looked at him, and instead of allowing that to bother me, I deflected. And I said, not only do I belong here, I will tutor every one of these students before the year's up. I went in, I sat down, and I smiled, and I did. But again, you gotta put the timelines together. I never dealt with that, how I felt about being discriminated against about my appearance. And so that continued to play in the background. And when that woman treated me exactly the same way, it's just a different appearance of a timeline. It's another angle of a mirror. It's the same lesson coming back around. I finally understood that I needed to weed that out. And so I made peace with what had been done, because at the end of the day, if I'm the source, then those were dramas that I played, and they were necessary for me to understand them. But I could move on now. And literally, like a weed you pull out of a garden, I made peace with that woman. I made peace with my chem teacher. I thanked them both for participating in my illusion and my lesson, and I freed myself from it. Now, another way that you can apply this is a good future version of your conscious mirror. And so this was an interesting experience for me recently. I had unconsciously been equating what I hate doing with death. It was a severe message from my brain. And so I didn't understand why I hated, but I knew that I disliked it, and I equated it with death. And so when you're feeling like that, things that occur to you are not sensical completely. And so what I was going through is I'm working my job 10, 12 hours a day, but I no longer love it. I used to. And I had these visions. Okay, if I lose my job, if I quit my job and I go pursue my dreams, am I gonna survive? Because this job pays great. What if I don't make the same amount of money? Oh my God, what if I have to come back and get another job like this again? My mind instantly, and I'm being real honest, said, go to the top of the building and jump. That's how much I hated what I was doing. I couldn't get, and I was beating myself up. What are you doing? Stop thinking like this. You know, and I was not depressed. As long as I wasn't doing my job, I was great. But I was doing my job and it felt like death. And these thoughts would circle. And I would beat myself up, but I didn't want to face it. I didn't want to look at it. But I also followed my guidance. And my guidance said, I want you to go to the farmer's market right now. So I get up and I go. And I'm looking at this sea of people and it's crowded. And my inner voice said, go talk to him now. And I'm like, what? Who? And I'm looking around because I just see a bunch of people. And this guy's aura lights up like a Christmas tree. I was like a beacon. This is who you want to talk to. So I made a beeline through those crowds of people, and I went and spoke to this man. And I started talking to him about his products. He was the Viva Raw guy in my neighborhood. And I was telling him different things he could do, and we're just chatting back and forth. And he says to me, you know, before I did this for a living, I followed my parents' dream. I went to college. I got this great job. Like the dream, like your parents' dream. This is what you want to do. This is the end goal. This is the accomplishment. And I was working this fantastic financial position. And every day I hated what I did. I would stare at that computer screen and I would cry. And in that moment, my inner voice started laughing. Like, do you see your reflection yet? And I did. And he said, now listen, you know, for 10 years I did that and I hated my life. And then I just had enough. I had to take that leap of faith. And again, I hear my inner voice laughing, the jumping off of the building. And he says, and I've been in love with what I've been doing ever since. You know, and look at my great business. And I leaped without a safety net, but I knew I had to follow what I wanted to do now. And this was that time. So we chatted back and forth, and I walked away. And as soon as I walked away, the voice inside me said, now do you understand your new image? And so it was like a breakthrough. And this is how people can help you. I'll give you one more example. I have a lot of people that come to me. They come to me for guidance. And one particular person has anxiety. And so for me, I recognize anxiety and PTSD as a moment in time we have not let go, that our body relives every time we are feared or in excitement. So the body doesn't know that that's not occurring. So to them, that's where the anxiety is coming from. So I was digging with her, find me the memory, find me the memory, find me the memory. And she was like, I don't know what it is. And we kept on working until she finally gave me the memory. She said, this is what occurred. When I was a little girl, I was removed from my mother, and I felt helpless, and I felt terrified, and I didn't understand what was going on. And that feeling stays with me every time I get afraid. It sends me into panic attack. In that moment, I understood one thing. She just described my childhood. I'm at peace with it. I'm detached from it. That is what occurred to me. But she was letting me know that I had unresolved feelings, and that's why she was appearing as my reflection. And since I was completely detached, I had no idea that's still playing in the background. If you don't know that's playing in the background, you can't remove it like the weed that it is. And so in this case, I use Ho'oponopono as well. And I go back, not only do I help her on the 3D plane, understand that these things are not occurring anymore, and work with her, I take what I've just learned and take it out of me. I revise it, or I pull it out like a weed. I appreciate the experience. I consciously rewrite it. Now I understand that the reflection is healed on both sides. And the more you practice this, whether you're using it as a future reference or a past experience, the better you get at pulling out these weeds. And what happens is you move about the world untethered, Whatever you say, speak, or do happens instantly. Because now you've removed these unconscious blocks. And you have a different understanding for the human beings that are coming to you. You're no longer helping them. They are your enlightened messengers, playing the role you need. And in certain cases, you're going to encounter the hardest test. This is the last one I will leave you with. When you encounter what you do not identify with, when they represent everything that you dislike, this is your hatred made manifest. The inner stuff that you just haven't made peace with. And sometimes that mirror appears in the form of an attacker, an abuser, it's just the lowest level, our concept of the lowest level, we cannot identify with that. In those particular cases, I also use mirrors. I use Ho'oponopono. I clear it out, but I also make peace with it this way. I thank them for appearing in my life and playing the role as the opposite as of what I am, so that I could define myself this way. And so it's like I make peace with this image and it loses its power over me. Because I'm no longer triggered. I'm at peace. I'm grateful for their appearance in my life, even if that's the only way I can appreciate them. And this allows us to move unencumbered. You want to get to that point. Triggered and tethered to these things, because this is what causes the blocks, the not immediate manifestation of whatever we said. So it's a habit, it's an ongoing thing, but it's the proper use of the tools. The people as messengers. Does that help?
Extremely. Oh my gosh. Continue, Sydney. Continue. Oh my gosh.
So, I guess what I want to say here in this particular case is if we start applying it this way, we not only heal the world around us, instantly, because we're healing everything at its source. We are never looking at another person that comes to us like a bad thing. We can't. Even what appears bad, we're like, oh, I needed to see that. And that peace then carries over, into instant manifestations, into being untethered, into understanding what's being said, and also helps us communicate with our body, because our body's always speaking to us in symbols. So I don't know if people can apply or relate that, but if you start doing it, I promise it's a totally different way of moving about the world in peace and joy.
Oh my God. Okay, whenever you're ready for the questions, we
Yes.
are ready.
Sure.
Oh my goodness. I'm so emotional because that touched my heart. Because I struggle with a lot of these things. I struggle with relationships in terms of even my other half. And I know that he is myself pushed out, but I don't know what to do, where to begin, how to solve it. So I get frustrated to the point where I just curse.
Yes.
And you're opening a light to say that, because what I understand is that actually he is my mirror, pushed out of things that I am fighting with.
Yes.
So I know that now, but not only do I know that, I know what to do, or what I'm looking for. All right. I don't know what is
Ho'oponopono. Yes.
Yes.
So Ho'oponopono is an ancient Hawaiian practice, and I have modified it. I use Ho'oponopono in the mirror because I understand one thing. The mirror is a symbolic tool that bypasses our conscious mind and goes straight to our subconscious. Inside our subconscious, we have neurons. These are the ones that are making everything appear as if we're separate. And so with Ho'oponopono, you have 4 phrases. It's a mantra. I love you. I am sorry. Please forgive me. And thank you. Those 4 phrases are the core constant of what I consider God-like energy. God is always apologizing, appreciating, loving. In other words, the definition of unconditional love. And so these 4 phrases, I look into the mirror. It's like I give my subconscious a direct order. Make peace. Apologize. Forgive the situation. Erase what you think you are thinking. Wipe that slate clean and allow yourself to see the situation as it is. But I use it in the mirror because it's the fastest, quickest way to get to my subconscious. If my subconscious is responsible for how I see, then that's the way I'm going to go to it quickly.
All right. When you say use in the mirror, what do you mean by that? You put yourself in?
I put myself in front of a mirror.
Right.
I look into one eye at a time. And I say, I love you. I am sorry. Please forgive me. And thank you. Then I look in the other eye, say the same thing. And I say it this way for as long as I need to, till I feel peace.
Yeah.
Especially in a moment where I'm triggered.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know? And I also add one more thing. When it comes to relationships, that's exactly it. And relationships always are our unconscious thoughts pushed out.
Yeah.
And so when you understand that, now your partner takes on a different meaning. Because now you know how to fix and correct what's inside to correct the reflection on the outside. No? That makes sense.
My mentors always and they always say that all you have to do to mend a relationship, the same thing you just said. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
And thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I don't know if anyone else has questions.
Hopefully it helps.
Yes, it does. Way helps. When you said the mirrors, did it just happen? Did it just from you said you saw the mirrors? I mean, how did it come to you?
How did it come to me? So
yes.
I'll give the background on that. I had a very strong mystical experience, and now I understand how I had it. But at the time, it was just the most exciting thing that ever happened to me. And as I was running, the image of Christ appeared before me, like a ghost, total ghost. And the words are, I am the truth, I am the light and the way, follow me. And I got so excited, I ran in towards it and through the body. And in that moment, although I knew I was running, my conscious mind was running, my subconscious imagery transported me inside into another image. So it's like, I know I'm running, but in my mind's eye is seeing something totally different, another dimension of existence. And I was led to like a prodigal son feast, and people were, clapping their hands. Welcome home. You made it. Yay. And I was surrounded by every ascended master that has ever existed, ever, 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 ever. And it was the most intense and beautiful thing. But it was, I don't know how to describe it. It was really incredible. And the voice said to me, you have achieved your understanding, so you walk through your own reflection. Like, whoa, wow, okay. And I was like, so what else do we have to learn? And that's when the guide took me into the Hall of Mirrors. But all of this was occurring inside my head. I was using this eye to see, while my conscious eyes remained on the road running. You know, which is a little different, but it's also similar to what people describe when they pass away. They say that world is right there. It's like hidden. And so I like to describe it as the world that's inside the illusion. The ones that, you know, we have to bypass the time and space. But that's how I got the imagery. Another way that helps, if you can picture 3D as if you're inside this clear box. You're the light inside, so your outline of your body is just this light. But you're inside this box. It's clear. That's your 3D experience. When you wish to step outside your 3D experience, you picture the body inside the box stepping outside. So now you have a bird's eye view. You're not inside the 3D experience. You have this view that can see in all directions at once.
Could you go over that? Back up a bit. Just go over that a little bit again.
Yes. So the whole concept is, if everything is a movement of mind, you want to be able to use symbolic imagery to bypass your conscious mind and get straight to your subconscious, to give it an order. And so in this case, I use the image of being inside a 3D box that's clear, and I'm the light inside. And when I no longer want to be in that 3D box of experience, I want to be able to discern it from outside. I step outside the box. Again, it's a movement of mind only. But when you do that, your mind doesn't know the difference. So it proceeds to listen to you. So as you do that, you do gain that bird's eye perspective from outside. And this is what I use to listen to people. Before, like, no one, I'm so good at it now, right? That's the image I put in my head, and then I listen. And then they tell me where our experiences cross, where our bodies of experience match each other so we can see each other.
And one last thing, you said that the experiences that each individual show to us is either what has happened to us in the past,
yes,
or what is going to confront us in the future.
Yes.
Okay. Now I'm understanding quite a bit.
That way you can walk through the imagined experience.
Yes.
With, different lights shining on you so you can see.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I don't know if anyone else has questions, so you can go ahead and ask if anyone else has any questions.
Cindy, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I think from especially the third part, where you always encounter situations where people are coming at us, or they are creating grief for us, and I know I've come into the situations before where I notice that it comes in a pattern. It comes like all at once, and my mind will gravitate from one person to another. I mean, I'll try and make peace with that. But if I'm not complete, I'll find another image to latch on to, another mirror to latch on to.
Yes.
How do you know when you cleaned up completely?
When it stops occurring on the 3D plane.
Okay.
What's going on is our heart energy. Whenever we don't deal with an experience, it has nowhere to go. We didn't do it properly. It was just laying. So what occurs is it just continues to play. And so what happens is we'll encounter these people and they may look different. It's a different point in time, different angle, but it's the same situation over and over again. The more we practice like the root cause tapping, which is huge, and we give our mind the image, okay, I understand the lesson, I made peace with it, I'm not going to think like this anymore. I don't experience. You can pull it out.
Okay, cool.
And then mastery occurs when it stops triggering you on the 3D plane.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
I know about the tapping, and I haven't used it in ages, but I think I'm going to take it back up.
Yeah, tapping in silence is probably the best, because if we're trying to change a situation,
Yeah.
you know what's unconsciously being blocked. Right? So,
Right. And just as you said, I learned it that the subconscious does pick up things in terms of imagery, right?
yes.
So it's getting that imagery within the subconscious mind so that we can
Yes.
get our results.
Yes.
Okay, fabulous. Amazing. Thank you.
And it's very interesting when the most interesting that happened to me so far, you know, the movement of mind lecture we had?
Yes.
I took a paddle boat with that movement of mind lecture playing in my earphones. I took the paddle boat and I was listening to the words, and I was listening and I was paddling across the lake. Where I stayed was on one side and I went all the way to the other end. It took me an hour because I was listening to the lecture, but I was also paying attention to nature around me and enjoying my experience. I realized that the way back didn't have to take me an hour, because if I was, you know, going towards my goal faster, I could go around a little faster, but it still would at least take me somewhere between a half an hour and 40 minutes to get back. So I was still thinking about the movement of mind when, and I'm paying attention to everything's going on. I'm listening to this lecture when suddenly I appear right in front of the house from my way back. It took me 5 minutes. There's no way that could have happened unless I truly embraced the movement of mind.
Movement in mind, yes.
Yes. The image switched and I appeared to look like I teleported or something. But no, the movement of mind occurred. So that's when you know that it's like you bypass your mind with symbolic imagery.
Wow, Sydney. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay.
I have a question. Thank you
Yes.
so much. I have a question about tapping. Can
Yes.
you just explain that process? Thank you.
Yeah, so with tapping, tapping is typically done with a script. And the idea is you want to accept a certain situation as it is, and you give this script, and then you want to tap on your meridians in order to change it. So I don't do it that way. I want to get to what I don't know that I don't know, because I need to remove those blocks. So my way occurs in bedtime, before I go to sleep, because I'm setting my intention. And I tap on my meridians, beginning here, move up here. And it doesn't matter if you do this with one hand, two hands. That's not the point. You want to get to the point where you're tapping on these spaces, these meridians, in complete silence. And you want to do this gently until you feel peace. But you want to make sure it's silence. And you just kind of repeat until you feel good. But it's just these tapping on these meridians. And if you look up EFT tapping, they show you where these points are. And the reason I do this in silence is because I want to develop a relationship with my unconscious mind and let my unconscious mind tell me what's going on inside of me. And so when you do it in silence, two things will happen. As you get better at deciphering the messages, memories will start to flood up. And it's like watching the silent movie of you. And these images can be so random. They could be memories of a grandmother, baby, infancy, anything. If these occur, I thank these experiences, and I literally picture myself like weeding out the memory, like I'm so grateful for it, but it's no longer necessary. If I don't get any images, I'll still go to bed. But what happens in that at night is I dream. And sometimes I'm gonna give a little warning, they're nightmares. They're the scariest thing you could ever imagine, nightmares. And you would think, why would I do this to myself on purpose? Because the experience is imaginary dream. So you've already lived the experience. Just overcome it. You just face fears and overcome it in a dream. You've lived it. If you can think of it like that, you're removing the things you unconsciously fear. So that's how I use root cause tapping. And I can totally teach if anyone would be interested in applying it.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Sure. So I don't know if there are any more questions. I don't want to go over too much time because I think it's Nicola's turn soon. But I really enjoy this topic. It's one of those things that I know really helps.
Sydney, that's okay. You can go over. I don't mind. I'll wait. Sorry. Yes.
My thing with this is I don't feel that you have mastery over manifestation until it's instant.
Yes.
And once it's instant, you see it.
Yes.
And that faith muscle grows. And then we know whatever we say, do, or will occur.
Yes.
And that's what you want to get to the point where you're removing the things you don't know that you're thinking.
Right. Because I know for a fact that the blockages is the things that are, as you explained, are there. But then sometimes you just don't know how to get to them or to get into the past to know what is there and then root it out.
Yes.
You understand? So I struggled. I've been struggling with that a lot. So this has really helped me a lot. And one of the things I always wanted to get to, never always speaks that he manifests things like that. You know, things manifest very quickly for him. So I really would love to get to that point as well. So this is going to really, fast forward things for us, actually.
It's a huge game changer.
And I would love to learn more about the 3D mirrors and all of that.
Sure.
Yes. Thank you so much. And the tapping, I'm sure many of us don't know about the tapping, so I'm sure some of us would really love to learn more about the tapping. I know a bit about it. I know the points. Yes, I do. So thank you so much.
Sure thing.
Oh, any more questions?
All right, we did good.
Yes. If anyone has any more questions, then we can close after, I guess. Yes. If Sydney has anything else she wants to share, but thank you so much.
I love it. Thank you, guys.
I'm gonna watch the replay. There are some nuggets I need in this.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
All right, then. Thank you, guys. I look forward to doing
you. Yes. Thank you, Sydney.
Sure thing. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.